This episode of the Talkcast Podshow is brought to you by Honey. If you're like me, you get a lot of coupons in the mail, and there is no time in the day to sort through all that. If you're also like me, you don't really want to go out right now to a brick and mortar location with all the plague breathers. Well, that's where Honey's got you covered. You see, Honey is a browser extension that you can get on your computer in just 2 easy clicks, and it sorts through all the promotional codes and coupons for over 30,000 registered websites. These websites include things like tech, gaming, and of course my personal favorite, food delivery. When you go to checkout, just click the little Honey icon and it'll sort through its database of hundreds of promotions to make sure you get the best deal on what you're ordering. So far, Honey has saved over 17 million people over $2 billion in their online shopping. And if you want to be one of them, just install Honey now. Quick, easy, simple. So thank you again to Honey. And now on to the Talkcast Podshow. Hello and welcome to the Talkcast Podshow, the #1 show on the internet and the monster under your bed. I'm your host, your ghost host, Lanny Pator, and I'm joined by everyone's favorite muckfuthering vampire, the terrible, the terrifying Takahata 101. How you doing today, man?
You could have just stopped at terrible.
I could.
I'm the worst. I'm the worst.
He is the worst. But you're also my best friend, so we make do. We make do with what's around us. But
Nani Sorbet. We got Little Karibo in the chat, dude.
Oh, awesome!
Are these
awesome.
animes
for everybody joining us live, Little Karibo is in the chat with us, and all of
Phasmo.
you. Yeah. Speaking of, I have a little TFS update to drop on everybody because we're here in the middle of the spooky times. Not just because it's 2020, but because it's the week before Halloween.
God, every damn movie's gonna start up with it's gonna give off a month and then have this dark stinger when they put up 2020.
Every movie that takes place after this is just going to be weird.
No,
it's just going to be labeled the before times and then present.
I call this now. We're now at current crisis, but everything after this is called post-crisis.
All right, but I got a quick TFS update to drop on everybody because we're 1 week out from Halloween, and we got 2 Freaky Fridays planned for you coming up here over on TeamFourStar here on Twitch. So for those listening live, you can catch Taka, myself, Kieran, and Grant as we hunt some ghosts in Phasmophobia on the 23rd at 7 Central Time. And of course, for those of you listening on the archive or the podcast version, you probably missed that live, but you can check out that archive over on youtube.com/stream4star, where we post all our stream archives. So check it there. But a bigger announcement, Taka, something that's very personal and near and dear to your heart. On the 30th, the eve of All Hallows Eve, you and Kaiser are going to be marathoning through all of Hellsing Ultimate Abridged live with commentary. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and as I just learned before this, the start time for that is going to be 5 o'clock Central Time. So be prepared for some vampire Nazi chicanery on Friday the 30th here on twitch.tv/stream4star. And of course, the full stream, should it not get completely VOD muted, I know Twitch has been getting a bit higher on the DMCA claims. I mean, no, they caught up with YouTube. It's fine. We've been dealing with this shit for years. But as long as this thing doesn't get VOD muted, should be going live on youtube.com/stream4star the night afterwards for anybody that misses that live. In other related content over on TFS Gaming, Krillin has been playing through Sekiro, and the game has been made all the more amazing due to the awesome mod that allowed me to replace Wolf's skin with Krillin. Krillin looks oddly tall, and he's basically just a giant bobblehead cartoon standing in the middle of everything, but you know what? I think it's worth it, and I've been having a lot of fun, so check that out if you get the chance, and if you have not yet. I'm very excited for Phasmophobia, though, this Friday. Taka, you and I actually played some of it last Sunday with Martin and Goomba. I actually posted a highlight of that over on my YouTube channel. It is the exact right level of jank. I love it. It's so fun.
Oh my god, I'll say there's been an influx of fun multiplayer games that we've always wanted. And I'll give the devs who were developing it time they deserve this time, because games like Among Us and Phasmo and and Fall Guys as well. It's just we really needed games like this right now, and it's great to have them.
It is. Games that are like fun to kind of socialize with. Among Us is such a great party game, and I look forward to getting back to some of that tomorrow. Again, for those of you live, you can join us there. But Jesse has been doing an amazing job of doing some multi-stream highlights of those games. They've been awesome. But
They've been a lot of fun to play. We just have been.
Among Us has been my favorite discovery this year. If it didn't come out in 2018, it might be my game of the year.
Oh wow, man! I mean, to be fair, it blew up this year.
It did. It's such an amazing socially distanced party game.
Yeah, no, it's the perfect time for this game. It came out 2 years ago. No one really cared. Now it's the perfect time for it. It's same with Phasmo as well. I'm pretty sure that's a newer one, right?
Yeah, it's the perfect evolution of like the game Werewolf, like where you have people that you can't trust and you have to like vote out the right person.
Someone said it's the perfect example. It's Werewolf meets WarioWare, and that's what makes it so perfect.
That's because you got the little mini games.
It's Werewolf meets WarioWare. It's all it is, and it's literally that's all it needed. It was such a brilliant idea. The gimmick is simple, and all we want is more maps. That's all we want, really, is more maps to do this in.
As you're trying to like do these little mini game tasks around to win the game, you're getting stalked by an unknown alien assailant, which I know is very reminiscent of one of your favorite horror movies, The Thing, right?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. Every time everyone sits down and chats, it's just that one fucking scene from The Thing, where everyone's tied to each of the couches, and then McCready's just got, all right, one of you fuckers is it?
We're gonna test
how we know it's not you?
blood.
I just torch you all. They're
I'm just gonna light all of you on fire. Oh, okay.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. The fact that I'm doing process of elimination means that I am not it, because that's a very tactically unsound strategy. Anyways, see which one of you fuckers is an alien. I loved it because he was like fucking lost it. Anyways, we'll talk about that here in a moment, though.
Yeah, it is the actually I was going to use that as a segue because
we're going to use that as a segue. Well,
yeah, I'm using that as a segue.
We should break down our top fives. We should do our top fives and build from there.
You want to do our top 5 scary movies
in no particular order, unless you can actually do the particular order.
I probably could, but here's the thing. There's a distinction in my mind between horror movies and scary movies.
Oh, that's no, there's not. Okay, here we go.
There is, though.
This is where we argue now.
There is, though, because I consider Cabin in the Woods a horror movie, but it is not a scary movie.
I mean, that's
right.
No, it's not a horror movie, though. It's not scary.
It's a horror comedy.
It's all right. That is a. Oh man, Nick, you're really gonna make me say it.
Yeah, you do it,
Nick. It's parody, so it's not as good. I'll say it.
I can't believe that you believe that, though, because
I
Cabin in the Woods
cannot
is one of
believe
my
I just
favorite
said
horror
it to you,
movies.
Nick. I can't believe you made me say it.
Cabin in the Woods is amazing. It's
a great movie.
It's probably my top 3 horror movies.
Great comedy movie.
Here's the thing: a horror movie can be funny.
This is everyone in the chat. This is the next hour. By the way, we're never gonna leave this fight. This is a fight we're gonna keep coming back to.
And if this is the hill you want me to kill you on, that's fine.
Nick, I keep dodging all your parries. This fight's never gonna go on.
How do you dodge a parry? A parry is a dodge.
Nick, this is hot dogs and sandwiches, but the only fucking difference is the hot dog never made you laugh. So it's a comedy, Nick.
Motherfucker. Okay, so go ahead. Tell me your 5 favorite horror movies.
5 favorite horror movies. Number 1 for horror movies is The Thing. I love John Carpenter's The Thing. I love it because there's so many aspects of what makes this thing terrifying. The fact is, I can't give away the plot. All I can say is that it is a remake of The Thing from Outer Space, and it is arguably better than The Thing from Outer Space. It is one of the scariest potential alien creatures, one that absorbs and replicates and then poses as life to hunt. And it just slowly goes around. Now, here's the thing. If it landed anywhere else in the world, but the Arctic, Antarctica, if it landed anywhere else, it'd be over for the human race. But because it landed in Antarctica and got frozen 10,000 years ago, it's this deadly ticking time bomb has slowly been melting. And it woke up in the one place it actually... Ice, it doesn't work with it. It's the only thing it can't deal with is sub-zero temperatures. It struggles with that aspect. It can survive.
Extreme temperatures, I guess, is the best way you could say it, because it also fucking hates fire.
Oh, yeah, it hates fire. And that's the thing. And that's what was great. And again, John Carpenter at the time was just the master of practical effects. So the practical effects of all the things, it was just so grotesque and alien. I will always remember the scene. I think you will too, Nick. Mm-hmm. When they had that severed head that grew legs out of the mouth and walked away.
Yeah, no, that movie is a masterclass in practical effects.
I will always love that guy. You have got to be shitting me. It's just the guy's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's just the guy's like jaw like, are you kidding? What? Like it's so big, it's beyond the pale, right? Oh, Lenny, you got quiet, by the way. Everyone's saying.
I've been adjusting my mic on the fly because I'm also peaking like hell every now and again, so I'm trying to adjust as I go.
You have too much energy.
I have a lot of energy when it comes to this. Did you ever see its prequel/sequel?
Oh fuck no, no, I didn't watch it. I saw one scene in the movie I was told to check out because it was worthwhile seeing because of how uncomfortable it was, which was the scene where the thing merged with the guy. And I was like, okay, that's neat to watch unfold. Everything else in the movie was garbo though. Alien wasn't even behaving as the thing wasn't even behaving like the thing did in the movie.
Well, that's because it hadn't learned yet because it was...
Oh, because it's never met alien creatures? Fuck off. God damn it.
I know.
I can't help. I feel like roaring and alerting the enemy you're about to attack it is a bad fucking... Anyways, okay. Anyways. The important thing is it's the original of the thing is fantastic. I also enjoyed The Conjuring.
Yeah, The Conjuring was one I know you and I talked about it at length a few years back.
Well, the reason why The Conjuring I feel works is it has this. I don't feel insulted by the movie, like the structure of it. One of the biggest things is before you say, hey, that's not scary. Remember, everyone's not you.
It's all subjective, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm like. So if you want to say that, you can say not scary to me, but then you can be that asshole.
Personally, I also don't necessarily find that movie scary, but I also don't find a lot of things in media scary.
The Conjuring makes my skin crawl. The Conjuring makes my skin crawl. In particular, the ball game, the clapping game got me. The clapping game was so well done that, oh God, it will always get me when the clap happens beside the mom. Mm-hmm. I believe The Conjuring is one of my more favorite ones as well. I can rewatch it. I always enjoy showing it to people. But Nick, tell me about some more of yours.
Some of mine. Well, my favorite movie of all time, which is definitively a horror movie, but I don't necessarily think it's scary. I just really enjoy the movie. Evil Dead 2.
All right. I mean, that's where it was a bit more comedy too. They added a lot of comedy to that one.
It was the perfect blend between Evil Dead 1, which took itself way too seriously, and Army of Darkness, which didn't take itself seriously at all.
It's wild. Those three movies is a wild journey.
It is, because the entire movie is carried purely by the relationship between Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, who Sam Raimi loves to torture.
Yeah, the torture of him is hilarious.
Mm-hmm. It's the entire first half of the movie is just Bruce Campbell on his own, slowly going mad in this cabin as this evil force is stalking him from the outside, and it is it is such great acting from a young Bruce Campbell. I absolutely love it. It has made me love Bruce Campbell from that moment forward. Unfortunately, Ash versus the Evil Dead just could never stand up to anything in this movie.
I felt so bad because I feel like Ash versus the Evil Dead could have been so great.
It had its moments, but it felt too cartoony. Like the Evil Dead, as fucking outlandish and kind of comical as it is, still had this like grit to it that made it feel grounded. Ash vs. the Evil Dead is vibrant. Like the color palette is very vibrant.
I
everything is very over the top.
I will agree with a comment I said. The first season of Ash vs. the Evil Dead had a lot of potential. It's just the second season kicked up, and it was all about the plot just went off up its own ass. Essentially, it went up its own ass on the second season. So that was what happened. I actually didn't even bother watching the third season because of how bad the second season was. I was like, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to see it.
I'm actually on the same level. I watched the first 2 seasons. I'm just like, I have the third season, but I'm like, dude, like I don't know.
I don't care.
Yeah.
They didn't make season 2 didn't make you care enough to see season 3.
It didn't, and that's kind of sad because I think it had a lot of potential. But Evil Dead 2, forever in my heart, is going to be one of my favorites. It spawned one of my favorite musicals of all time, Evil Dead the Musical, which I was
that's great.
Yeah, I was able to see at a local theater once in the splatter zone because
I took my mom to that.
It's such a fun show.
Oh yeah, she thought it was hilarious. She was like, "Wow." With the part where they cut away mid chainsaw and they cut back after the intermission doing the chainsaw thing still.
And one of the characters is missing because now they don't exist.
Yeah, no, that's what that got my mom really good. That got my mom really good, which was hilarious. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out wait, hold on.
You're fine, but yeah, Evil Dead is great. The remake, I'm glad it kind of did its own thing. I enjoy the remake for what it is, but it's just going too far into torture porn territory for it to be like something that I really, really like. It goes for unsettling over everything else, but its use of like,
direction.
Yeah,
you can tell
so
different
a lot of
creative
its
direction
practical
happened.
effects are really cool though, and the fact that they were doing their own thing instead of trying to just redo Evil Dead 2 in their own, I can respect that. Not necessarily going to make my list, but that's up there. But one of my favorite go-to watches on Halloween, Trick or Treat.
Interesting choice.
Have you seen it? I'm a sucker for anthology movies.
Yeah?
Yeah, like Creep Show, Tales from the Dark Side. But Trick or Treat is probably one of the best of those, because it actually has like a central theme. Like there is an overarching plot in the background of Trick or Treat that ties all of these stories together in this little town. And each of these little shorts is, they don't overstay their welcome. They are fun, macabre little pieces of horror. And I think it's like just the right level of camp and spooky atmosphere to make a great Halloween movie.
The wonderful thing about anthologies is if you don't like it, it's okay. They'll move on to the next one.
Just wait 15 minutes.
Wait 15 minutes will be good. Is it okay if I move on to one of mine?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is one that's probably going to be on your list as well, so I was saving it. Hereditary. Never before has there... you know what? When I was watching this movie, it was really upsetting to me that she was never... The mother, the actress, I forget her name. She was never nominated for Academy Award for Best Actress.
Yeah.
Her portrayal of grief was so unsettlingly accurate to what it would look like. Toni Collette, thank you.
Yeah, Toni Collette, she was amazing.
Toni Collette or I don't know. Toni Collette, she was so phenomenal in the role portraying grief. The family, it was a relatively tiny cast, all things considered. So cerebral.
Bigger than you think.
I didn't know if it was mental health or something supernatural was happening. I couldn't tell because it was kind of 50-50, right? You don't know how much is in your head.
For a while, yeah. And it has one of the biggest what the fuck kind of moments that in any movie I've ever seen. Like you and I watched it together for my first time live.
Oh yeah, we don't want to give it away.
No spoilers, but right at the end of the first act is the biggest what the like visceral what the fuck moments I've seen.
You say that,
film.
but because the thing is, the act 3 is very quick. It's very intense though.
Oh yeah. It jumps up in tempo real quick. Like this movie's pretty low tempo at the start.
Each act knows how to structure itself and drops your jaw. Toni Collette's performance literally keeps the entire movie together. The dad is portrayed in such a way that made me believe him being a real dad, because he reminded me so much of how my dad interacts with certain stressful situations. He acted like a dad. He's like, oh, I want to fix this problem and I can't. Fuck. He gave off that energy. He gave off the energy of I feel like what a dad in that situation would do. The son, I will say, Now it was weird because I saw him also in. He's also in the goddamn Jumanji remakes.
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. So every time I see him, I'm like, it always trips me up a little bit. It was a little bit. Because I'm like, but what if Jack Black and The Rock showed up in the middle of this movie?
Well, he'd have to be playing one of them.
Oh, hey,
so.
there's spirits. Where's Jack? I wanted Jack Black Ghostbusters movie, Nick. Where's Jack Black Ghostbusters movie?
Oh God, he'd actually be good in one of those.
Yes, Nick. That's why I said it.
I know.
Remember we made our Dreamcast with what we wanted for a Ghostbusters movie. We wanted Seth Rogen. We wanted Jack Black. I think we want. Do we want not Luke Wilson but Owen Wilson? Wow.
Well, if you're putting Owen Wilson in there, does that mean Vince Vaughn's tagging along too, or are we getting Ben Stiller to be the lead dude?
No, Ben Stiller's the villain in this movie. I want people to love it.
Only if Bill Murray is like the commissioner Ghostbuster, just
no,
over the shit.
He only does Zoom calls though. That's on brand. That's on brand.
Just calls in for it.
Oh god,
Hereditary is fantastic, and that's a movie that I would definitely say is on the scary side. Like there's no levity in Hereditary.
None. Don't expect a joke. There's nothing funny in that movie.
It is dark. There's a lot of hidden details in the backgrounds of the movie, and it is a great, like you said, you're guessing the entire time. It's like, is there something supernatural going on? Are these people just going crazy? What the fuck? And then the third act just like starts kicking it up to 11, and you're like, oh my fucking god.
Yeah, no, it's really good. The follow-up movie,
Midsommar.
Midsommar wasn't as good. Is in my opinion.
I still enjoyed it. I
could tell that movie was 4 hours long, and they cut it down. The reason why the reason why there was an entire plot with that albino guy that never went anywhere.
That's it had its purpose and its ending is what that part did. Maybe they might have cut like 10 minutes, but I don't know what they would have done with it.
Fair enough.
They told everything they needed to. Ari Aster has quickly become one of my favorite like indie horror directors.
This was like an entire horror movie done in bright daylight. It was neat. I'll say on a level of cinematography, his movies can't be competed with. The man knows his way around placing a shot.
He fucking does, and he knows how to transition a shot. The shot in Midsommar where she's like in the bathroom crying, and then she walks out and she's in the airport. It's like, holy shit.
Oh yeah, no, there's so much good direction. Any complaints I have about the plot, it's just because like this is a cult literally fucking with people's heads, giving them literal like hallucinogenic drugs and shit.
Yeah,
and stuff, and then using them to be sacrificed. And some people try to portray them as good guys in the reviews of the movie. I'm like, no, they're monsters. They murder people. What? The point? Did you not watch the movie?
God, Taka, way to not respect other people's
No,
culture.
I like it that they stuck it to the ex-boyfriend. You mean the guy who was drugged and manipulated like everybody else?
Spoilers, by the way, movie. I guess.
No, he deserved it. No, none of them did. None of them deserved that.
Midsommar gets a lot of credit for doing what Ari Aster does really well, hiding things in the background while not really hiding them. But for doing a horror movie just in broad daylight, I don't think this would make like my list of movies that I'd watch during Halloween. Nope. But Midsommar is its own little special beast of a movie. I would, however, agree that Hereditary is far superior in a number of aspects.
No, without a shadow of a doubt on that one. Midsommar's still fantastic, and if you ever do check out Hereditary, and you really liked it, you will like Midsommar.
At the very least, you will respect Midsommar if you like.
Dude, that
Hereditary.
opening shot. All I'll say is the opening shot that kind of kicks the plot off for Midsommar. You know the one. Mm-hmm. You know the exact shot of that long take. Mm-hmm. That completely sucked me into the plot. Whatever was going to happen next, they had me. With that, how he filmed that and how he placed that shot was brilliant.
I don't know if Ari Aster has like some hang-ups with death or if he just has a fascination with it, but the way he explores the subject is amazing to me. I'm somebody that's fascinated by the concept of death and like what comes after, what happens to people during it.
I also like that he kind of has his own magical lore. Like magic in his world is real, but it's very strange. It's very strange, and it kind of works on collective illusion, if that makes sense. With the cult, okay, I can't say too much. I can't say too much. I just almost said too much, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up there. It's fantastic.
It's interesting because the entire time, it's not even necessarily that you're overtly seeing magic. It's that you're seeing what the characters are perceiving around them, and it seems like magic. Is it actually magic? It's relatively unclear throughout the movie. It's not like The Witch, where the devil's just fucking there.
Yeah, no, the devil's there. He's there. He'll be hanging out the whole time.
Yeah,
Spoilers!
Spoilers for
the Witch features a witch.
Spoilers for the Vivitch.
Which
also probably wouldn't make my list along with...
I think it's great to watch once.
Yeah, the dad's voice alone kind of sells you on it.
Yes.
Same with The Lighthouse. If you haven't seen that, that's a fun watch the first time. But I would call those horror dramas rather than just straight up horror movies. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Anyway. But yeah, going back to a movie I talked about previously, another one of my favorite horror movies is Cabin in the Woods. I love watching it around Halloween because it is just an homage and a love letter to all of those like old classic horror movies that I grew up watching. Because that is literally trying to make sense of like, why would all of these exist in the same world? And it does it in such a fun, creative way that I'm so happy that the trailers for it never spoiled. You still there?
Yeah, they very carefully marketed that.
Same with Hereditary. Hereditary's marketing team did an amazing job not to throw away the plot like so many fucking trailers do.
It's so hard sometimes not to though.
But Cabin in the Woods is great. I remember seeing that live. I remember seeing that for the first time in theaters with
you and your grandma.
Kaiser, yeah, Gone and my grandma.
Grandma Lanny, Nick, you said that would be scary when she left. I will always remember what she said to you.
It was marketed as a horror movie, just a pure horror movie, and it was getting these really, really good reviews. I'm like, it's the best reviewed movie out there right now. We should check it out. It's a rainy day out here, so let's go fucking do it. And it was one of the funniest movies I had seen in years, and I still love it to this day. Still in my top 5 favorite movies of all time, probably.
Hey, Nick, I don't mean to take away from horror movies, but can I tell you something that's kind of hilarious?
You may.
Real quick. For overall box office, the #1 movie in 2020 is set to be Sonic the Hedgehog.
That doesn't shock me at all.
There you go, Nick.
Like
the '1 movie of 2020 is Sonic the Hedgehog.
It came out in February and had the longest box office run before everything shut down.
It wins, Nick, up there with the legends.
If we want to talk about 2020 though and horror movies, there is one that I saw, like the last movie I saw in theaters before everything shut down was The Invisible Man. Have you seen that?
No, but I heard it's really good.
It is. It's very good. The cinematography in that, directed by the guy that did Upgrade, if you've seen that, great techno horror movie, is really, like, it's really good because, like, the way they play with the frame and the camera, the framing in a lot of the shots when it's just the girl alone is always just wide enough that you believe somebody else should be standing in the frame. So you're playing Where's Waldo throughout this movie of like looking for evidence of an invisible presence just kind of standing around. And you're like, oh, did that thing just move over there? Oh shit, I think that's where I think that's where the Invisible Man's standing right now. And it's just fantastic psychological horror. I was really happy with how that one came out. And I was a huge fan of Upgrade, which I hadn't seen until this year too. So yeah, I highly recommend checking out The Invisible Man to anybody who hasn't yet. It is probably the best horror movie that's come out this year, but that's not saying a whole lot. Moving on, do you have like another horror movie that you have on your top 5 list? Because so far I think we've talked about 3 on your list.
I have actually been thinking, because this is like, I got the 3 in my head that I really enjoyed. But I planned it down there. So now I'm playing with the last 2. I'm like, out of all of them, which are the ones that I kind of really do enjoy?
I'm a huge fan of like the classic slashers as well.
I guess I've never been a fan of slashers. In that regard,
they're an acquired taste.
They also had the second they started coming out, there was such a bloat of them.
There was, but the good ones kind of stand above the others in a lot of ways.
There's one movie I'm trying to remember it. It was on my tongue.
What was it about?
I'm trying to remember what it was. It was a. Wow, I'm really falling apart.
Yeah,
here,
no
Nick.
worries.
I am floundering. I fucking
your brain
throw the life. Throw the life.
I'm working on
it.
it. If you just shut up, I can talk.
Throw the life down. I'm drowning.
Do you have any like Halloween traditions that you would do? Like anything that you kind of like hold?
Oh yes, I actually will be doing a Halloween tradition for me. I don't consider it a movie, but it is as long as a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm doing it on Halloween Eve around 9 to 10 o'clock PST.
Halloween, right? Because Halloween Eve is when you're going to be doing the Helsing Marathon.
Yeah. Helsing Marathon the night after over on my own personal Twitch. I'm going to be doing one of my favorite horror things, a Dark Place Marathon.
Garth Marenghi's Dark Place?
Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. Yep. Now there's some horror.
Is that something you kind of do like every year around Halloween, or?
Now I am. Now it's my tradition. I love that shit.
It's gonna be your thing?
Oh, it's gonna be my tradition. And if I'm ever in a bad mood, I'm just gonna rewatch Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, because there's always one fucker in the chat who's never seen it before, and it's always wild to watch them react because they just don't expect it. Now, for those who do not know, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place is an intentionally terrible television show made in 2002 to look like it was made in 1985 and shoved in a vault for everyone to never see it again.
It's unfortunate it got completely overlooked, because that was when like Adult Swim started putting out a bunch of live action programming, and not a lot of it was very good at all.
Adult Swim didn't produce it, actually. It was produced by a different company. The Adult Swim just picked up the rights for it, and they aired it for like a couple months, and that was it.
I know, but that's what I mean. Like, they started putting it out when they were putting out all these other Adult Swim live action things that nobody cared about.
It doesn't have the 80s commercials, but it is there's DVD commentary that's placed over throughout the entire episode as well, where they give context for some of the things you're seeing while it's filming. And it is made by the guys from the IT Crowd. As a matter of fact, it's their debut.
Nice.
It's Matthew Berry's first on-screen role as Dr. Sanchez. It's actually as well David Iotti, one of his first ever big roles as well. His first ever produced thing he ever made. And this is Dark Place. I know. It features many cameos from the Mighty Boosh, and as well, remember Whatley from Portal 2?
Yes, Wheatley.
Wheatley. Yes, thank you, Wheatley. He's in there too. He plays the chef.
Oh,
Goddamn son of a bitch. The flippin' chicken. Yeah. Anyways, Dark Place. It's hilarious. It's terrible. It's bad. Imagine a show that a guy wrote for himself, about himself, why he is the best, and he's also sexist. Makes
sense.
There's so many layers to why it's funny.
That sounds like the only tradition I really have on Halloween is, since I was a kid, Halloween would always be the night that, like, in order to go out trick-or-treating, my mom would make something for dinner that'd just be like really fast, really easy, and it would always end up being Sloppy Joes. So every year on Halloween, I make Sloppy Joes, because like that's just something from my childhood that I remember, and I've gotten better and better at it as time has gone on, of course. But
have I ever had your Joes?
I don't think you have, but last year when we were actually able to have a TFS Halloween party over at the office, I made a big batch of it, and they went real quick. I was happy, because I like my Sloppy Joes. They's good, and they just remind me of my childhood.
I have a proper answer now, Nick, for you, by the way.
Oh, sure.
It's two movies, because I feel I would be remiss not to mention its sequel while mentioning the first one, because that's it. That's it for the franchise as far as I'm concerned, and I'll go into more detail with this. Alien and Aliens.
Yeah.
Both these movies are fantastic. The first ever Alien is a marvel of its period in time when it came out. I go back and rewatch it. It is a beautifully slow burning movie that builds to such an apocalyptic crescendo at the end. It is amazing. If you've never seen Alien, an alien shows up. It's a slow burn. I forgot how slow it burned. with the whole landing on the planet and everything. I forgot all about that, and I'm like, oh right, fuck, there's actually a lot to this.
Yeah, no, it's,
and they really one thing I will always love, which will always be hilarious to me, is when a movie comes out, it's that decade's interpretation of what the future would look like.
yes.
You know, and the Alien has such a stylized version of what the future looks like.
Yeah,
And
it has its choices. Like, you've been playing through Alien Isolation recently, right?
oh, I was gonna get. Don't worry, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that.
Well,
I
gave it to you so you don't
okay,
dwell
so
on
I'm
it too
playing.
long.
So like,
Sorry,
when I say Alien,
I'm actually trying to make a point here.
no.
Yes, you trample on me a lot here, man. You got to work on that. So they have that great level of technology where it's like 1970s, like analog green computer screens, but you know, they have this like space travel capability. Alien is this beautiful piece of cinema where they play so well with that innate human fear of infection and the unknown, and having something inside you that you don't understand and can't comprehend, and it's going to kill you. Like, that is the primal level of fear that Alien plays on. And Aliens goes to the next level where it's just like, oh yeah, there's just a whole horde of these things. It's now an action movie. You can enjoy this a lot more, but it's still fucking scary because now there's like a horde of these monsters.
I will say this. When this was being developed, when they were like, all right, Alien made a lot of money, guys. What should we do? I have an idea. In comes James Cameron. The name Aliens on screen, and he just with a Sharpie writes Aliens. And they're like, oh, fuck!
James Cameron, the man responsible for two of the best sequels for movies that he did not originally make of all time.
Yeah.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Aliens. That's all he ever needed, but then he went on to be like the most financially successful directors, or at least...
I'm gonna go make a movie about Titanic.
Now I'm gonna make Dances with Wolves, but it's in space and the people are blue.
What do you mean I didn't win all the awards? Motherfucker. Goddamn son of a bitch.
I'm gonna make 11 more of these.
Joke's on you fuckers. I'm never stopping making these. But James Cameron's Aliens, it is fantastic. It follows all the same cues for practical effects that the first movie does, creating a much wider, much more expansive cast with trained soldiers and a horde of aliens. However, still playing into the fear aspect, but this time instead of having allies and the feeling of paranoia and alone, you have this feeling of everyone slowly shrinking away one by one, but everyone is an expert in their field. Not like they're just random people on a plane, on a ship. These are all trained soldiers. Which makes it terrifying. And of course, for those who do not know, the big reveal at the end of this movie is the Queen alien. One of the most, I think one of the better movie villains.
One of the coolest practically designed creatures in all of cinema.
Oh yeah. It's just now remember I was telling you about James Cameron doing this pitch meeting?
Yes.
Okay. So James Cameron at some point in this pitch meeting, so how does it end? Well, you know how at the end of the movie, like she ejects him out the airlock? Right, at the end of the first movie, well, I'm thinking about perhaps creating a symmetry because it turns out the Queen was on the bottom of the ship and they never noticed. And she gets off because she can live in space, apparently. But then Ripley, who earlier was in that mech suit earlier at the beginning of the movie, remember that? I Chekhov's gun to all of you. She's in the mech suit. They're having a goddamn
robot fight.
They're having a kaiju fight. The climax of the movie is Ripley says,
get away from her,
you bitch. And she like cocks, like she cocks like her robot.
Yeah, like the fucking power loader is one of the coolest goddamn things that movie introduces.
It was practical effects too. I don't even know how they made that work. And it's just the fight against the Queen is ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous. Like the whole fight is just beyond like, oh my god, the whole franchise just jumped the shark. You can't top this. This is having a kaiju fight.
And they really never did.
And that's what I was about to say. And they never did till Alien Isolation.
Yeah, Alien Isolation, which takes place in between 1 and 2, like in that like 75-year gap or something like that.
Yes.
Probably one of the best horror movie or horror games in recent memory. It does such a good job of ratcheting up the tension whenever the alien is around.
Every Tuesday, I've been playing this. From like 12 to 1 I start, and I keep going until I can't anymore. And now that I've played this for 3 weeks, because I feel like I could speak to this game a bit better now.
Mm-hmm.
I died last time, Nick. By the way, it got me.
Yeah, it does that.
It got me. Now that it's got me twice, I think I'm gonna be okay. It got me a second time.
It starts to learn where you hide too, is the shitty part. Yes,
and that's something I'm gonna say. It is interesting with Alien Isolation. It is really cool that Sega got a hold of this license. But what I will say is it was unexpected to see who they gave it to. They gave it to Creative Assembly, not the
Total
company.
War guys.
The guys who made Total War, not known for good AI. As a matter of fact, rather infamous for having terrible AI. It's like there was this weird, like for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Yes.
It's like all the bad AI created this wonderful, brilliant super AI, and they put it in the alien's brain.
Here's the thing. Maybe it's not good at creating tactical, like, swarm AI. But but when they condense it down into, like, okay, this specific thing has this goal, and it'll do this, like, when this happens, like, I think maybe that is the different level of thinking, because when you're playing a strategy game like Total War, there is a lot of things happening at all times for the AI to try to keep track of.
Mm-hmm. But with Alien, I can say I now know what it feels like to be hunted, and it is a terrifying feeling. There's a certain adrenaline going nonstop when you're playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's unlike other horror games, I'm actually feeling a certain surge of adrenaline playing this. Unlike Dead Space, because in Dead Space I had a gun. Like I had lots of guns and I could kill everything coming my way. This game, I can kill the androids or the humans if need be. It's not good gameplay. in
Alien Isolation, all you have is the flamethrower, and it only just like annoys the alien enough to leave you alone for a couple minutes.
Yeah, it's a pipe bomb too. You get the pipe bomb, which I've saved. I've been saving all my tricks, Nick.
Yeah, to lure it away.
No, I've not been using them.
Oh, yeah,
I've not been using them because I knew when I was going to get towards the end of the game, it was going to get harder and I was going to need them. So I made sure that all those tricks, all the little traps and stuff that you can make, doohickeys, I made sure not to use that with the alien.
It gets pretty bad in the.
It'll know how that I can use those later on, and if I don't use them till later on, then it won't know how to deal with them when I use them. That's the fucking plan.
Mm-hmm.
That's my strategy, because eventually the way I'm playing isn't going to work, and I just noticed that. I already have noticed it. I'm already going to throw a sound creator. I already know what I'm going to do, because here's the thing, Nick. I'm in that medical part where you go into that room, you need to get the thing, and then go get the other. I'm at the end.
You're describing a majority of the quests. By the way.
I'm at the end of medical.
Okay.
When those 3 people walk into medical looking for shit too with the alien.
I don't even think you're halfway through the game.
Oh, no, I'm not, Nick. This is why this is going right into November, dude. I'm saying that this game does something that this game in a gameplay achieves something that Alien, the first movie, achieved. It really does make you feel like
isolated.
Isolated, but not only that, it makes you feel like you're not top of the food chain. There's something more powerful than you, and you can't kill it.
Question: which do you think would win in a fight, the Thing or an alien from Aliens?
The Thing.
Do you think the Thing could properly replicate itself into the alien?
Dude, and remember when oh my God, Wilford Brimley looked right at the camera and said, "This alien creature could potentially possess alien life all throughout the galaxy."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wilford Plinkett.
I loved him in that movie. Every time I watch that movie, I'm like, oh right, Wilford Brimley's in this as a scientist.
Yeah, he's the one that kind of like gets locked away because he's like, because
you're coming here, I'll kill you. She's got a gun. Oh fuck, Wilford Brimley, get his meds. He fucking hurls an axe at them.
Get his meds. His diabetes is acting up.
Ah!
Rest in peace, Wilford.
Rest in peace, Wilford Brimley. And dude, he was, even to the very last day, he was trying to keep up to date with everything. Fucking love the guy.
So what would you say is your like favorite horror movie monster? Would it be The Thing, or would it be
favorite horror movie monster? That's different than a horror movie.
It's true, because like this is just like a standalone thing.
Okay, you got yours queued up here, so go for yours while I'm thinking about mine.
I do and I don't, because it's like really hard to choose. I think if I really had to choose my favorite horror movie monster, it would honestly probably. Actually, yeah, this is a harder question than I actually.
Yeah. Now you see where I was like, all right, you got one good, because I gotta think. You gotta.
One I keep going back to is the werewolf.
I mean, the werewolf. Yeah, what's wrong? Nothing wrong with the werewolf.
It's classic. It's the idea of somebody turning into something against their will and just becoming this monster. Like I've always enjoyed, like I've always liked movies with that trope and the way they've been able to kind of play with it. But then you have like the smarter monsters like Freddy Krueger. Things that can be like a little bit witty, a little bit edgy, a little funny. And there are so many monsters just represented in Cabin in the Woods. Cenobites, zombies.
All of them.
Yeah.
Every major one pretty much had their RC Cola off-brand version. It was fantastic.
The unicorn.
That was funny.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful movie with an amazing climax. Yeah. Any luck pondering down yours? Another fun one's The Blob. I have fond memories of watching The Blob when I was a kid.
I got mine.
Yeah?
It from the remake.
Oh,
Pennywise the Clown, played by Skarsgård from the most recent It remake.
Bill Skarsgård's It.
His performance as It was so good. So good. But here's the thing. Tim Curry's was also so good. There has not been a performance of Pennywise I've not enjoyed.
That's fair.
Both versions I enjoyed for entirely different reasons. I mean, they had the camp and camp and the wackiness and the overall like bipolar mood shifting of Tim Curry's version. Then you had the malevolence and the impending doom of Skarsgård.
And that drifting lazy eye, that
which is real.
Those fucking noises he'd make are just amazing.
Oh, what I love of the first scene, the Georgie scene right at the beginning of the movie is so perfectly executed because they don't hide away from the gore aspect of everything with this one. I will always love that.
Blew my mind.
Oh yeah, and I'm like, oh wow, they're really going for it here. But the thing what really got me about it, because normally they don't show horrible things happening to kids on TV. Mm-hmm. They try and avoid that, even in movies.
Right there, like right off the bat, they're like, nope, here are the rules of this world, bitch.
All right, guys, we're killing a kid in single digits to start up our multi-million-dollar franchise. So let's buckle up, buckaroos.
We're ripping his arm right off in front of everybody.
Yeah, we're not even to be vague about that shit. Like he's gonna crawl away in pain and terror. All right, Georgie's after you ready to go? Yep.
I'm good to go. Can I get?
He gives one thumbs up. Only one. But the thing about it was like one. When he was there, Skarsgård actor, when he was in the drain, which is such an iconic scene. Mm-hmm. I couldn't get over how while he was seeing the whole time, you could see it. He's drooling. He's starving. Like this is his first kill after coming out of hiding.
Yeah, his first kill in like 20 or 30 years or something.
Yeah, since the last cycle. So he is starving. Like he can barely keep it together. That's why his eyes drift away. For a second there, like he's trying to keep his form, but you can tell he's just so distracted and overcome by hunger. Hell, he's getting impatient with his hunt on this one. And I will always like that Skarsgård was able to sell the fact that he was, in a lot of ways, a hunter, a creature that was just
preying on fear. And It Chapter 1, like when it came out, was like great. Like it was refreshing to see a horror movie like that for the first time in a long while with good plot, with good child actors. And then Part 2 came out, and it's just like it could not recapture any of that feeling.
Well, the problem was the way the book is framed and the way the movies are framed are very different.
Yes.
The way the book is framed is it starts off with them as adults and they don't remember what happened in the first movie. Because they're just like, as they've gotten further away from it, their memories deviated away. So while they're in this town trying to figure out what happened, then all their memories of the past come to the forefront.
Yeah.
And then the ending happens again. Then they remember how they defeated him the first time, then they defeat him a second time. This time for real, I guess. But that was technically how the book was written, and how the book is written, it makes a lot of sense. But as a separate movie,
yeah, it could not hold up, because like while they do touch in on, okay, let's go get these things that remind us of the past. It's like, okay, but we're just getting like fragments of it. Like you're getting like a scene that we hadn't seen in the first one, but we already know everything that happened there.
It's the same thing with anything with a Stephen King novel. Great concept, rough ending.
Yeah, it's just the second one just couldn't hold up, unfortunately. But chapter 1, fucking great. Like I don't even think you need to watch chapter 2.
Where's the sewer orgy, Nick?
I don't know, somewhere on the cutting room floor, probably. You skip it. You don't need it. You don't need it.
You can tell he did a puff of coke when he wrote that part, huh? Sometimes when you're reading the book, you can tell he did cocaine. You tell he just did a puff of cocaine, because he'll be talking about. And
he was a writer in the 80s. That's how you can tell.
And then the children overcame it by facing what they were scared of with the help of their friends. Because it was actually a demon from another dimension, but there was actually a turtle that was separated nearly 1 million years ago, and that's why that's what the connections of the Deadites were. And then they have an orgy. They have an orgy, and then that's like.
By not being virgins, they couldn't be attacked.
Well, Sylvan Dragonflood's here, didn't he? Stephen King even admitted the best ending to any of his stories was the Mist film ending he didn't even write.
Yeah, the Mist had such a great ending, which I refuse to spoil.
It's so great.
I refuse to spoil, but it's so amazingly depressing.
It's so great. Oh, Stephen King was watching in the movie theater and was like, "Oh, that's so good, guys. That's better than what I wrote."
But that's what hindsight can do for you. It's like, what if it ended like this, though? Because once you end something, you've made a choice. But if somebody's like adapting that, it's like, I can decide to make it like kind of put this little stank on it at the end,
I got to ask you this question, Nick. Now, since we're talking about horror movies, and we're gonna, I think it's a good place to round it off here. I want to talk to you about a movie that I was surprised didn't grace your list. The Shining.
The Shining.
But there's a reason why I'm bringing up The Shining.
There's a lot to go. There's a lot to go into that.
The Shining itself, I know, is a very interesting enigma. It's more of an art house movie than a horror movie.
It's one of Kubrick's best films.
Yeah, it's the one where everyone hated him by the end of it. Now,
that's every movie.
What did you think, though? Did you see Dr. Sleep?
I did not see Dr. Sleep.
I think you should. Now, I want you to understand that if you're going to make a sequel to the fucking Shining, if you're going to do that, you best put your best foot forward. And they did. They got the guy who directed and wrote The Haunting of Hill House. He was the one who... What's up?
Solid.
Yes, more or less solid. The Dr. Sleep was really good.
Which is strange, because I didn't hear a lot of good stuff coming from it when it came out.
The problem is like its name is off-putting. It's called Dr. Sleep.
I mean, even critically, I didn't hear a lot of good things from it.
Critically, actually, people are saying, wait a minute, this movie's good. The problem is they didn't know how to market this movie because they couldn't give away the plot. The plot is along the same levels as It. You know how It feasts on the fear.
There's like psychic vampires and shit, right? Like it's
not even
this...
that. You remember how It fed on people's fear?
Yeah. It's all part of that big Stephen King universe that will never come together because they fucked up the Dark Tower or whatever.
Yeah. So same premise. These things are in a similar way like It, but they're like the vampire equivalent. They feast on terror in the same manner. Each of them have a certain thing that they can do, low-key psychic, but they feast, and once you feed on everyone's terror, they're dead. They just drink them dry, essentially. This is the plot. So they go more into detail about what the Shining power is, and they go deep into responsibility. Ewan McGregor plays the kid. What was his name in The Shining? Danny as an adult. Amazing performance from him.
Yeah.
Completely sold. I believed he was Danny. The whole time I believed he was Danny. He did such a good job with it. And some of the chat points out, yes, it's just a cult of addicts. Yes, they're essentially addicted, but it keeps them young.
All right,
that's the thing.
So General Kenobi is an older Danny.
Yeah, no, he's an older Danny, and I think it was Ewan McGregor. I fucking hope it was. Otherwise, I'm really out of here.
It's all good.
But one thing that's really neat is they actually remade the Overlook Hotel. Now, in the book, At the end of the Shining book, the Overlook Hotel was burnt to the fucking ground.
Yep, explodes.
It explodes. Now, in the movie, that does not happen. So, this is what I was about to get to. So, somehow, they had to take Stanley Kubrick's version of the movie, and they had to take the original version of the movie, the original version of the book, and mix them together.
Because they had to blend the parts that were most popular. It's like, okay, look, everybody knows the Kubrick version. Like, next to nobody read the book.
All right, so what they did is they remade the Overlook Hotel. They remade the entire set of the Overlook Hotel from The Shining to a 1-to-1 scale. It's so eerie for those scenes, because I'm like, fuck, it's the same set. It's weird to see it after all these years, right? They did a really fantastic job. The set of one of the best Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes. It was the best Treehouse of Horror. It's the best short. The Shining one. It can't be topped.
You want to get sued? I'm bad at this.
Dude, 2 of the best Halloween horrors were in the same one. We'll get to the shit in soon. We'll talk about the shit. But I really do enjoy Dr. Sleep. I thought it was, for what it was, it could have been so much worse. And all things considered, if you're going to do a sequel to The Shining, I was okay with it. And truthfully, I want to see a little bit more.
All right.
I think they got a cool world here, but...
Well, we can hope that the Stephen King-averse actually becomes a thing. I don't know.
It will not become a thing.
I doubt it highly.
Even though they cast the right guy as the gunslinger.
They need like an HBO series or something like that. That's the only way.
No, the thing is, they need to go back to the 80s and recast the movie. Okay, because we need Christopher Walken to play the Man in Black. Wow, whoa! I am the Dark Prophet. We want that?
You mentioned Haunting of Hill House. Did you see Bly Manor?
I stopped watching it.
It was okay.
No, it was. I can't even say that.
I watched all the way through it. It's not as good as Hill House. Not even close.
I watched 2 episodes. By the 3rd episode, I went, I'm done. It's not snagging me. I just not finding it worthwhile to watch. I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Good cinematography. Don't get me wrong. Again, the director does a good job with the cinematography. But not a fan of this plot. It takes too long to get where it's going.
It was not as good. It treaded a lot of water, and the cast, while good, was not as spectacular as the Hill House cast.
Yeah, no, this is a bit of a misfire in my opinion, but that's just my take on that. I don't want to. But Nick, have you seen Hubby Halloween?
No. So
Nick, let's talk about Hubie Halloween.
Let's talk
Once
about.
again, Adam Sandler's back with an accent which could only be described as racist.
God, have you heard that he wants to do a Sandler verse where he brings all of his characters together?
Do it.
Who's going to stop him is my question.
No one's going to stop him because I'm going to give him all the money to make that happen. Okay.
No, Netflix.
Want to know why? No, I want Happy Gilmore and Little Nicky to hang out. Okay. Because they have to work together, but first they need some money. Guess who they have access to? Mr. fucking Deeds.
Oh shit.
Yeah. See, Nick, I don't think you're aware how deep the Sandler lore goes.
But
okay?
wait, Little Nicky is the son.
Dude, the villain's gonna be the guy from the.
Little Nicky is the son of the devil. They have enough resources to do anything.
No. Remember, the devil's a good guy now. And also, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, Nick. You got to remember, it all comes down to this. The villain of the movie is the guy with the shoes from the cobbler.
Where does the Zohan come into this? Where does the Zohan enter?
Oh, you don't mess with the Zohan.
Okay.
And also, that's a Sacha Baron Cohen movie.
Oh, but.
Wait, is that? Wait. No, Cohen's just the bad guy in that movie.
Yeah, he's the bad guy in that movie. I was gonna say he's.
We can't mess with this. Don't mess with the Zohan, dude. We gotta talk about more Sandler characters. We gotta get involved in this movie here.
How do you get? Okay, Uncut Gems is not a Sandler movie though, so he wouldn't.
What could it be though? Maybe that should be the isekai. He should be isekai into the Sandler
using the click remote control.
Now, here's the question. If we're going to feature in all these Sandler characters, is the entire cast of Hotel Transylvania going to show up? Because that changes everything.
That does change everything. Does Sandler as Dracula show up? And if so, how does he treat Little Nicky?
So, no, you know what? Stevie's right. Shooter McGavin needs to be the main villain. But Shooter McGavin from the future, and he's half android.
And he came back in order to stop Jack and Jill.
If he actually made the plot of the movie, he had to go back and stop him from making Jack and Jill, I'd watch that movie.
And animated Adam Sandler from 8 Crazy Nights shows up. Along with
God!
That's a technical foul. Just fucking.
Oh, nobody needs the unibrow.
Oh God, this is the true horror of Halloween.
This is man,
Dunkachino 2. Oh God, to round this out, just to tie a nice, happy little bow on what has turned into an awful conversation.
No, we're gonna. And guys in the chat below, make sure to write out your Adam Sandler verse OC plots.
Yeah, everybody, let us know what your plot for the Adam Sandler verse is. How do they tie together? Tell us, please. But to round this out,
is Happy Madison a fallen Azamar? Okay. Anyways.
Oh God, what is just to round everything out? Your favorite Halloween candy when you're out trick or treating? What was your favorite candy to get?
Three Musketeers.
Three Musketeers.
Or it's a tie between two.
Okay.
Three Musketeers. Or Coffee Crisp.
Okay, yeah, Coffee Crisp is one we don't get in America. It's one that I always buy when I'm up there in Canada visiting.
You can't knock them wafers, dude. Wafers are too good.
You can't. They're really good. The little toffee wafers. What was your favorite Halloween costume when you were a kid? Like,
oh, as a kid, I did it 2 years in a row. I dressed up as Data from Star Trek: The Next Generation. I fucking loved Star Trek: Next Generation as a kid.
I just see a little talking. You had shorter hair.
That's right,
then,
Nick.
too,
Every
so.
Halloween, I white faced.
Isn't it more like gold face? Like
no, it's white facing, Nick. Trust me.
Oh man,
I got the photos.
I had a lot of Halloween costumes I enjoyed as a kid. One of my favorites is like I liked going trick or treating with my best friend next door. His name was John. We went one year as the Blues Brothers, and we had to explain what we were every goddamn time. I was Jake, he was Elwood, and that was a good Halloween. We always had like a fun group thing going.
Did all the adults get it, but not the kids?
Kids definitely didn't. The adults had to be like, because a lot of them just thought like, oh, you're just like government agents or something. It's like, no, I have a harmonica. We're Blues Brothers. Oh. Blues Brothers was always one of my favorite movies. Mm-hmm. But my favorite candy to get, far and away, like no fucking contest, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Oh, you a peanut butter cup boy? All right, that's fair.
I absolutely peanut butter cup boy. What about you, chat? What about you, everybody out there in the comments or out there in the podcast-averse? What's your favorite candy to get on Halloween, and what's your Halloween ritual? Let us know. This has been the Talkcast Pod Show, and we'll see you guys on Friday for the Helsing Ultimate Abridged Marathon. See you next time, and have a happy Halloween.
Next
Friday. Next Friday.
Not this Friday. Yeah, next Friday. Okay.
Yeah. Happy Halloween.